Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. Today we're going to be talking about...
Don't you know, I'm more than Pac-Man with a bow.
Reach for Ms. Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man.
Today's episode of Glen's Retro Show is brought to you by DNA Dimension Designs, the best custom retro gaming decals in the game, period.
It's Mr. Arcade.
And Miss Arcade.
Miss Arcade.
Wow. And don't talk to Miss Pac-Man.
Into the tunnel.
That couple's in love.
Yeah, with Miss Pac-Man.
Let's let him take it home.
It's the official tabletop version of Midway's Ms. Pac-Man. Look, changing mazes and tunnels just like the arcade game.
Our very own Miss Pac-Man. They'll give her a good home.
And now Mr. Arcade shrinks prices with a $10 rebate on all Coleco tabletop arcade games.
Thanks for joining me today on Glen's Retro Show. I happened to be doing some browsing over in Target the other day, and I came across one of the Basic Fun static screen versions of Miss Pac-Man. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. Okay, so this is Basic Fun's static screen version of Miss Pac-Man. They already released a while ago the color full screen version of Miss Pac-Man. And that's more of a consoleized NES port of Miss Pac-Man, but I'm not even sure if it's a consoleized version of the NES. It looks a little bit different than that, but in any case, it's not the arcade version, but it's a good version if you do happen to pick one of those up. And I also did a review of that already. I put a link down below to that. But this here is more of a throwback to the early versions of early 80s when Coleco released their VFD version of Miss Pac-Man. So they're trying to simulate that with a static color LCD, and to be quite honest, for what that's trying to represent, they do a pretty good job here with Basic Fun. I'm still not a fan of these blister packs. I mean, you can see the whole unit, which is kind of nice, but to get into it, they have tape here, but then you have to kind of rip the box a little bit to get access to it. But in any case, let's take a look at the box itself. They have a pretty standard form factor with these here. Again, it looks very nice. It's attractive seeing it on the display, which kind of caught my eye to go over to it. And they got the Miss Pac-Man logo and the standard console that they use. They have the joystick in the center, which is much better than the joystick on the left-hand side, in my opinion. And it is a four-way lock version. A lot of the games they do release that way that shouldn't really be four-way direction locked, like Centipede. But in this particular case, you want a four-way lock because you only want to go up, down, left, and right in your mazes. And of course, you can turn around. You can see the whole console itself. They do a nice job on it here. And this one was $17.99 plus tax. Now, if you go get the full color of Miss Pac-Man over at, say, Walmart, they're generally around $19. So you're only talking a $1 difference on it for the technologies that are in here. You would think this would be much, much cheaper, but again, is what it is. They do include batteries in here, so if you press the button here, you will get a little test of it. And you can see it is a color screen. We'll get a closer shot of that a little bit later. The sound sounds fantastic. I will say on these color static screens, the sound effects are generally spot on perfect, where the color ones are generally a hacked NES or a recreation and not as good, but decent enough. But for sound effects, this always gets a 10 on these static ones. And if you look on the back here, you know, they give you more information about the unit itself, about scoring, and about the company itself, Basic Fun. Now, the fact is, originally there was the Bridge Direct and Basic Fun. but now they only go by the Basic Fun name. The Bridge Direct part of that has been dropped. I'm not sure if the company itself is gone or if they split off, but from now on, any of these little units you get, whether it be the static version or the full color version, is just going to be from Basic Fun. And a quick little tidbit on that, people post on my Tiny Arcade fan page on Facebook that Dig Dug and Galaga has been released in the full color versions. So I believe that is the, I believe the Galaga is number 9, which originally was supposed to be Defender, but they had a licensing issue and Defender never came out. But you can make one, link down below, on a video I created to show you how to turn the Rampage and Joust into Defender. But they're also releasing number 13, which is Dig Dug. And I will say that the units themselves look nice, but they had to change the box, I'm assuming because they're now not the Bridge Direct anymore, they're just Basic Fun. And I'm not a fan of what they did to the boxes. I mean, they really changed it, in my opinion, for the worse. But in any case, let's get this little guy out of the box and take a look at this static LCD version of Miss Pac-Man from Basic Fun. Okay, I was able to get the unit out of the box, and the box, for the most part, survived, but it really does stink. You have to rip the box apart to get the unit out of there. And, of course, they give you a very basic little manual here. It is called Basic Fun, after all. And it's just a fold-out little pamphlet here. And just basic information here about the controls, power, different sound levels, getting different points for the different power pellets that are in there. And on the back, just shows you that there are, 3 batteries in the back. This does use AA, so it's 3 AA's, which are included, which is kind of nice that they do that. But they probably won't last too long because they're not really designed, for long-term use. But still, for what it is, not too bad. Now, I'm just going to scroll around and just show you the whole unit itself. It does look very nice. I mean, the color on it does give you a good feeling of the arcade cabinet itself, which is always a nice thing. And you can see in the back here, typical with their design, there's a little demo tab here. We're going to pull this out. When you pull this out, it puts it into actual play mode. So when you press the button, it'll actually play the game versus do a short little demo and power off. But again, the artwork looks very, very nice on the Miss Pac-Man cabinet here. And even on the front, it just looks really, really nice. So we're going to turn this little guy on. So hit this little button right here. And you can see the screen. It's pretty bright. I mean, my room right now in my studio here is very, very bright. And you can see the screen very well here. We have a 4-way direction joystick once again. And we have different sound levels and our start game button. So I'm going to come down here so I can see the game a little bit, which is always fun to try and play it through a viewfinder, but that's what we need to do on YouTube. So I'm going to hit the start button and give it a try. Now you can see there, they do have all 4 ghosts in the center. In the arcade, only 3 would have been in, and 1 would be on the outside. Let's get this thing back on. It goes into sleep mode too quick. We can see that there are the flashing power pellets in the 4 corners. And we can see that there's different spots here. Now, supposedly the maze is going to change. I'm not sure how well I'm going to play this game through a viewfinder. So I may play it again outside the viewfinder. But let's start up and see. Here we go. So it's really nice to put a little coin sound in there. And let's see. I can't even see what I'm doing. I'm going to die. I'm having a hard time seeing it through my viewfinder here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and I guess I got eaten already. Okay, there's a wall there. Couldn't see that wall. Again, that's my fault. It's just the angle I'm on. I couldn't see the wall there. There's a red wall. And it's just hard to see through this viewfinder, but I'm doing my best. Ah! Oh my goodness. Okay, that was the game there. There's a little cherry up at the top. It's got my high score there right now. Got the game over. I'm going to try and do it one more time, but I'm going to change the angle. So hopefully not only I can see what's going on, but you guys can as well. Okay, I've darkened the room in here. See if this helps us see this a little bit better. I'm sure you can see it better. I know I sure can. So let's try this game again. And I got nobody. I didn't get a single ghost. In a slightly darkened room, you can definitely see everything a lot better. The controls feel okay enough, but again, it's not a smooth, color LCD game. It's a static screen, so you kind of jump around a little bit, but that's just the technology. You can't fault them for that. It would have been no different on the old Coleco. Oh my God, on the old Coleco games. But I find it very difficult to play through a viewfinder, so I apologize. I'm going to try one more time to see if I can get anything on here. Here we go. It's definitely challenging, I'll give it that. But the four-way direction lock is nice, but sometimes you're not pressing in the right spot just because of the way the joystick is, or maybe it's just the way I'm holding it. Ah! Come to me, little ghosts. Although, good trivia, even I call them ghosts, but originally they were called monsters. And there's video proof of that in the original Pac-Man intro, actually first or second intermission, where you can see his pant leg get ripped. And that would not happen to a ghost. So come on, old ghost. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. Got them all. Gotta get them all. It's like Pokemon. Well, at least I got one level finished. See if I can do a second level, see if there's any intermissions. Because I have no idea if there is or is not. Once you get used to the way your Miss Pac-Man moves around the screen, again, you're mimicking the old VFDs. And if you were playing it back in the 80s, it would play exactly like this. And just this is obviously a little bit smaller, but also the maze is bigger, which is kind of nice. A bigger playfield. It sounds kind of weird to say that. It's a smaller screen, but you actually have a larger playfield. Alright, there's 2 levels. And look, they actually have an intermission. Now that's very cool. And the maze did change. So that's a pretty interesting thing that they were able to do that. I mean, that adds a really nice little touch to the game. And I think I died there. Yeah, but I got a cherry, I got a strawberry, and it looks like I got a peach. So, it's really not bad. I'm going to play with this a little bit more. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown of it. I mean, if you see this thing, I'm not sure if it's really worth, $17 when you can get the nice color one for $19. But I collect these, so for me it wasn't a big deal getting it. But it's when you compare this to the static Pac-Man they released. They actually released 2 of them, a black and white one, which is very hard to see, and they did come out with a nice, color screen like this one. But I do like how this one has the mazes that change. I do like it had the intermission. That was a nice surprise. The sounds are spot on. And again, the screen for what it is and what they're going for. They are going for the VFD look of the early 80s, 1980 through 85. And for that, it really is nice. So if you grew up with the old Coleco VFD games, you might want to get this just because it's really going to remind you of that. So it's kind of fun for that. Okay, so how do I feel about the basic fun static screen Miss Pac-Man? It's really not bad, especially if you grew up in the 80s like I did. It brings back a lot of memories. Of course, they also have this version here, which is the full color version. And I did like this one as well. Actually, I'd probably like to play this one a little bit more just because it's more like playing the arcade machine. It's fluid. You can definitely see how you're moving better. But again, this one's really not bad either. If you find this one on sale somewhere, I definitely would say pick it up. It's fun. The joystick did work well enough. I played it a few times off camera, and I was able to do much better using the joystick. It had a good feel to it. But again, these are inexpensive toys. They're not going to be like a stand-up arcade machine, but for a cool little thing on your desk, or a cool little thing to pick up once in a while, play for a few minutes, it's not bad. So once again, I take my hat off to Basic Fun for making a nice little machine, inexpensive, to play with it for a few minutes. Not too bad. So So I want to thank you all for watching. If you did like the video, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and remember everyone, game on.
Glen at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.